around the time that Deku would be getting out of the hospital after being talked about situation and briefed over what's going on about the sports festival, and the UA would get more trouble from the USJ since none of them were hurt the first time in the USJ in main canon. But now one of the students had to take on some monster that information that got out about it that was designed to take down All Might. And not only that, but how much damage was done by the student at the same time, since there was another report about the student that burnt down half of the area around them with his quirk of flame chains and all that. And that he had exchanged injuries and all that. But, of course, they would have to explain what happened and how that they had a person on their area that had ability to teleport, and I attacked them by our own, since there's only 2 heroes and 13 was taken down. So it was Zawa against the whole army. And the heroes got there fast enough, and there was no casualties so far. But, besides the point, Deku would be getting ready the next day to go to UA and go to the whole, sports festival. And so he would. And he would be told that he is the representative this time. Or no, I think... Did I make him the No, Todoroki. I think I went over this on the second part. This is part 4, right? Yeah. That Todoroki would be it. And all that. And so, yeah. But, so, it'll be time for the race. So when the race started, Deku would fling himself, projecting himself like a slingshot out the door, and the ice could not stop him since he would melt through it. As the screen would show him being launched out of the area, spinning, and using his chains to fling himself around. So, unlike how, he doesn't move himself around like Spider-Man, he kind of spins through the air, kind of like, I guess you could, I'm not sure, he's kind of like Spider-Man, but you know how Spider-Man would hang on to it and swing low, then throw himself in the air? He kind of spins, like, I guess, Attack on Titan, spinning blade style over here. Yeah, that's what he does. So, he would be launching himself through the air, spinning. I'd say he would be able to keep up with Todoroki and Bakugo. I feel like he could, but he would be behind them a little bit. Like how he was in main canon. He was in the far back, but he wasn't up with everybody. You could at least see them, but he would be closer in this one. So he would be in 3rd place. It would come to the whole one-pointers, and Todoroki would use his ice to destroy them, Bakugo would explode them, and I'll say Deku would wrap around his chains by the neck of 2 of them from their own bodies and clench them together, and the robots would take off their own heads by the weight of the other one, as the bodies would fall to the ground, kind of like an obstacle for everybody else. And so Deku would use this to launch him further into himself into the air, flying closer to them. And so yeah, he would be they would be encountering the canyon part, which would be the easiest part for Deku. And this is the point where Deku would take the lead with his ability to launch himself through the air, jumping over the whole canyon, landing at the end. And what he would do, he would cut the ropes and give them a thumbs up, and the ropes would be replaced by chains. But whoever takes the chance to go over those would be pretty much burnt. Their shoes would be melted off at the end, at least. He didn't make them hot enough to like burn through their shoes instantly, but it would take people's shoes off pretty much. And it would also stop Todoroki from using his ice, since his ice would melt. So Todoroki would put ice at the bottom of his feet and like dash across a little bit. And he would make it, and Bakugo would explode the chain and launch himself over it. And so Deku would just still be spinning. And now, this is where he would run into the mines, with him not noticing them until he would launch his chains into the ground. One of his chains would hit it, knocking it off course. And he would stop himself right out of it, and he would get ready. And what he would do is that he would pretty much cover the ground in his flame chains with like 3 of them holding like 4 little stepping stones, which he would run across. His shoes would melt, but since they are still... Would his shoes melt? I'm pretty sure I said if he wants to burn something, he would burn it, and he can stop it from burning other stuff. No, I'm gonna say he can't do that if I ever did. He can't stop something from burning. He cannot really control the fire. If he would to shoot flames and it would hit somebody, or if he had like a regular flame for it, he could not stop it. So his shoes were burned, but his feet can't. And he'd be jumping across this until he would see as Todoroki would catch up with Bakugo, and they would quickly catch up with him. But he planned for this, so what would happen is sort of like obstacles would come up with his chains that you have to jump through. And they would do it. Todoroki would launch himself upwards, going through them and riding on his ice through them, while Bakugo would explode through them. And Deku would get ready. Whenever they get close to him, he would shoot off his chains, and it would wrap around their legs for a split second. Todoroki's fire style would wrap around, and it would just go around Bakugo's foot. That he would throw himself backwards, and he would throw himself in front of them, and his chains from his hands he would whip across the ground, launching explosions, since they are close to the ground, unlike how Deku's in the air. And it would explode, and Deku would launch himself quick as he can, and he'd be coming to the end, and his chains would hit on the wall where the hole is that they're supposed to go through, like the finish line. Bakugo and Todoroki's behind him. He'll grab them a spin and pull himself closer as fast as he can, shooting himself through them. And at the end, whenever Todoroki and Bakugo gets there, he'd look at them in the same moment, pushing his hands against their faces, knocking them back, and winning. So yeah, the rankings would be the same. I'm pretty sure Todoroki was second in that one. And so, it will be time for the whole, what was it? Oh yeah, it was like, what was it? The cavalry battle? Is that what it was called? I don't remember. But this is a question. I'm going to put out two situations how you could pass. If you guys think if his quirk was used on the ground, would that count as touching the ground? Or if he disrode on it, riding. So, in both situations, he would be a rider, not a horse. And so, in the situations, he would pretty much do the same, whipping his chains around as a defense, or creating a bubble around them that would, like a cage where they can't attack, as a defense. If not, he would fling himself through the air if he could use his chains on the ground. Pretty easy strategies. And while in the air, he can steal people's headbands, because there's no rules against not being on your horses and all that. Since Bakugo did launch himself out of the grasp of them, so yeah. So, as you guys would think, I guess like the turtle plan, where he just hides and protects himself until the end, since he would automatically win like that, he would pass relatively easy, and fling him through the air. He would be matched. Bakugo would try to fight him. Of course, Bakugo's limited that Deku can literally prop himself into the air, and his chains would keep him up instead of having to constantly use explosions. So to end up, whoever has like the best way of staying in the air, Bakugo might be able to do sharp turns on Deku, but Deku, I would say, probably would have, he wouldn't be always faster than him, since only for a brief second he would go faster than Bakugo. Think of it like the quick step, where you go fast for like a split second, and he would pretty much speed blitz him with that. A little bit of a speed over him, so yeah. So, either way, Deku would win. Now it's time for the battles. Deku's allowed to have his weapon with rubber bullets, and so he would. And so, as everybody sees him go against Shinso, he would be informed by a tail dude, that dude, about Shinso's ability, saying it's some kind of mind control. And Deku would think of this, and it'd be time for them to go. And so, Deku would, of course, just everybody would see him take out his revolver. As Shinso would see this, and his eyes would open up, as Deku shoots all 6 shots up very quickly, and like, as Shinso would be shot with all of them in the chest, which would knock him back and make him gasp for air, and it'd shoot him outside the ring. Since, It's a pretty cool evolve, my dude. But yeah. So Shinzo would be taken down very quickly, and some people called it unfair and all that. And that's where Rezawa finally um, was in the middle of explaining what Shinzo's quirk was, sort of. So he says that it was a smart plan to take down Shinzo before he can get a chance to mind control him. So he executed the fastest way he could, and in a way that Shinzo would get less harm, instead of burning him with his chains. But he had passed with people being angry how he did, and it would be time for the second matches, since all the matches are still canon, because I don't want to change any of them. Against Todoroki. Todoroki would just constantly shoot ice, as Deku would just have chains appear in front of him, which would protect him and would melt the ice. Of course, it would turn into a tense battle, and finally, eventually, Todoroki uses flames, as they would start launching big attacks, or Todoroki would, as Deku would use his chains to swing at him through the fire and ice, and to block them. Get to the point of where Deku would be burnt and have frost on one arm, as Todoroki would have burn marks through his chest and have a slash down. Not a slash. Deku wouldn't cut him. And with this, Deku would get ready to go full power. With them rushing with them full power, as the Mentos would put up a whole barrier, as people would see the barriers be, the cement walls would be cut by Deku's chains, as he breathes blue fire, heating up his flames, which would pretty much completely melt away all the cement everywhere. Todoroki's ice would hit, and the person who would win would be nobody knows, since they would be both launched out of the ring. And I'll say the wall behind them, or wall behind Todoroki, be melted away with a big slash mark on it, as Deku would be into the wall by Todoroki's blast. And since they can't really continue this because, they're pretty badly injured, and Deku and all that, but they would continue it because recovery girl. But Deku would have absolutely no stamina. So whenever Bakugo does come to attack him, Deku wouldn't even defend. And Bakugo would see this, as he about to do a full howitzer impact. He would get close enough where he'll stop it, and that's when Deku would take his chance, as people see it. Bakugo stop, as Deku would take him by the head, slamming his head into him, headbutting him, which would hit Bakugo, making his head bust open pretty much, make him bleed. As Bakugo would go to his third explosion, Deku would grab him by the arm and throw him over his shoulder, pulling out his revolver, and he would stick it to his head, as he's breathing very hard since he has literally no stamina. And Midnight would have to call it a win, since if this was a real situation, Deku would pretty much be able to shoot him and he's dead. And yeah, Deku would win by tricks. What people are talking about. But, those heroes that are more strategies and not all powerhouses, like, All Might is, where All Might doesn't need a plan. they would have to explain to people. So with Izawa saying that he took his opportunity of his opponent's weakness, and that is Bakugo want to prove himself to be strong. So he doesn't want to fight somebody, Deku, whenever he has no strength left. And so Deku took this and took him down. And so this is where I'll end this off, and I'm going to see if my part is combined yet, so goodbye.